Holy shit! Hey guys, this is Justin at the Survivor Review. Today we'll be talking about episode 8 of Ash vs. Evil Dead, titled Ashes to Ashes. My god, this episode was incredible. This might be my favorite episode. It's between this one and episode 2, I can't pick right now, but this one might be the best one. This was so surreal, seeing Ash go back to the cabin, and seeing all the familiar sights from the previous movies, like the bench that keeps going back and forth and stops right as Ash gets on the porch, or even the work shed. Just seeing all these elements from the movies again with an older Ash was just something I never thought I'd ever see. And it was surreal. It was really weird, and I loved it. I loved all the callbacks to the movies, like when Amanda said she's going to go to the work shed to get the tool, and Ash goes, no, my ex-girlfriend is in there. I had to cut her head off, and then I chopped her head with the chainsaw in the work shed. And it was just hilarious. And even seeing the character of Linda again, in the same way she was in Evil Dead 2, was just so cool. I loved all that. Out of all the episodes, this one feels the closest to Evil Dead 1 and 2. Not because it takes place in the cabin, but because of the tone of it. It is very horror-centered. There's a lot of great comedy moments in it, don't get me wrong. It's still really funny, but this had that great balance like Evil Dead 2 did, where there's a good sense of horror. There's a lot of just foreboding dread as Ash and Amanda first enter the cabin. Just like, something bad's gonna happen, you know. And things can't go well in the cabin. And just that sense of fear and just something's gonna happen is amazing. It was so well done. A lot of great horror elements, but there's also a lot of great funny elements. This episode is pretty brutal. Well, it was really brutal at times and a lot darker than some of the previous episodes. And they balanced it well. This episode goes from having cheesy, funny moments like a bear trap coming alive and attacking Ash in the work shed, to evil Ash beating the crap out of Amanda, which is not played for laughs at all and is really serious. So that's why I feel this one fits the tone of the movies the best. Not because of the cabin, but because of what happens in the cabin, basically. One of the best things about this episode is Ash's severed hand, you know that too, actually grows a new Ash. Like, I was really confused when I first saw the scene where you see the hand behind the wall and he's crawling, and then it has an arm this time. I was like, wait, what's going on with that? And then it reveals that it makes another Ash, which is just great. It was crazy. And Bruce Campbell's acting as the evil Ash was just great. He's a really awesome actor. Even though he hams it up a lot of times in the stuff, he can be legitimately good, and this shows that off really well. That scene between him and Amanda where you just know something's off at first. You're just like, that can't be Ash. No, that's not him. That was another classic Evil Dead style thing that I just loved in the show. And the scene between Evil Ash and Amanda, I thought was good for the most part, though it felt a little inconsistent because Ash is pretty much hinting at them getting together, and Amanda just goes like, I'm not really that interested in you in that way. But the last episode they almost kissed. So I just felt a little inconsistent with their character there. But aside from that, that scene was really good, and the whole fight scene between them two was just, again, brutal and just crazy. And then the most surprising thing of the episode happens. Amanda dies in a very brutal way. She gets a meat cleaver in the neck, and then falls on a deer head and gets impaled. Jesus, that was really surprising. I was not expecting her to die in this episode at all. Even during that fight scene between her and Evil Ash, I expected either to her to get the upper hand and stop him, which he kind of did until he got her with the meat cleaver, or good Ash pops in and saves the day. I was expecting that. Or even Pablo and Kelly, who's just been walking around the woods the whole time, they pop in at the last minute and save her. I was expecting all those scenarios. Not her getting stabbed in the neck with the meat cleaver. And that really surprised me. I wasn't expecting her to die, but it makes sense with the story because it's a person who Ash really likes. And I like that. I thought that was really good. Though I do wish they would have developed her character a bit more, because her character didn't really feel a whole lot developed. You got first half of the season, she wants to get revenge, and then after an episode, she's on their side, and then a couple episodes later, she's dead. I really felt like they could have developed that a bit more, but either way, that was a shocking scene, and surprisingly emotional when good Ash finds her body. That was just, like, heartbreaking. He walks in and she's just there impaled, and it was, like, very fucked up and very just sad. And then the fight scene between Evil Ash and Good Ash was awesome. They took something that we've seen before, good Ash versus evil Ash, but did an interesting twist on it. I love how they were fighting and they were finding each other's weaknesses. Like, good Ash would hit bad Ash's bad knee because he knows he has a bad knee, and so on and so forth. That fight scene was really good, and I like how it abruptly ends right there, just like, I want to see more. I want to see the next episode. I loved this episode. It was so amazing. And it has all the classic Evil Dead elements and just works them perfectly. The only thing that would have made this episode even better is if Sam Raimi directed it, so it'd have like that classic Sam Raimi style. But that aside, everything in this episode worked. I'm not saying the direction was bad, too. I'm just saying if it had that Sam Raimi kinetic energy, it would have been a little bit cooler. But I'm not saying the direction was bad. Don't get me wrong on that. I had a blast with this episode. All the great callbacks to the movies, and all the moving forward of the plot, the emotions, actually, and just the fun craziness that is Evil Dead is all in this episode, is in this perfect half-hour episode that I loved. This is the episode that if you're an Evil Dead fan and you're not really into the show a whole lot, this episode will bring you back and just get you right into the show again, just because of how good it is. And I loved it. And yeah, that's episode 8 of Ash vs. Evil Dead. Just amazing. And that's about it for now. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys later.
She got possessed. I cut her head off with a shovel, then she did this crazy dance in the moonlight. I put her head in a vise and I cut it with a chainsaw. She did have a rockin' bod, though.